Okay, now that I have a perfect sketch laid out, I'm going to follow it precisely. This might be interesting. It might not be, I have no idea. We shall see. But it's going to be another one of those quick sketches. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. It's going to be more of a fun thing than anything. Maybe we'll put a tree trunk. Maybe a bit of a poplar, something that catches some light. It'll be rough. Yeah, I really enjoyed the vigor in that painting that I showed you a couple nights ago that my dad had done. And I used to be a little more bold. Well, you know, I still can be, but as a professional artist, you often end up catering. Well, not catering. It's probably my own fault. Wanting to please the galleries that you're working with, and that's extremely important. But every now and then, you do need a break. No harm in getting away from that. So, this is my break. And it won't be the only one. But here I'm literally going to make the forest reclaim nature. Or no, sorry, the forest. The forest doesn't reclaim nature. Nature reclaims human habitation very quickly. Nature is a lot tougher than people give it credit for. It's the way it's designed. Beautifully. And you've heard me blither on about how I do not like overmixing. Well, I have a habit of overmixing. And in this quick study, I'm going to try to avoid that. As you can probably see already. Adding a little more, sorry, alizarin crimson. Throw some pink in there. Okay, some raw umber and ultramarine blue. Because we do want shadows under the branches, at least a little bit, or under the foliage rather. where the bush meets the ground, just so that we don't sort of lose the general structure of the forest we're working on here. I'm going to put in some foliage now in the foreground. Actually, that's not true. First, I'm going to lay in a bit of foliage that's a bit dark. Because where the sun doesn't hit it, it's going to be dark. Okay, making that tree stand out a little bit more without getting too silly with it. Okay, there, I'm going to allow that dark to form a line up into this direction. And that's going there. We're going to oppose it down here. It doesn't have to be sophisticated at all. This is an 8x10 panel. It's a study. I'm not looking at anything to create the study, but maybe you can call it a study because it's actually an exercise in fluidity, not worrying about it, a bit of a sense of freedom about painting it, and I'm enjoying myself. Okay, now yes, there will be some light on the leaves from this poplar. And whatever other trees are kicking around. I'm not going to describe it too accurately because I don't want you to hold me to it. Don't forget, this isn't a scene, it's a painting. It's supposed to be fun. Am I actually recording all of this blithering? Oh yeah, okay. Okay, Let's see, that's a bit boring. I don't need an entire field of blah-ish green. So we'll bring that down like so. Okay. And I think okay, that's green foliage. I think I'm going to stick to the greens in the foreground as well. Oh, too yellow. We'll throw a little bit of cobalt blue in there. Okay, I'm going to mix cobalt blue with a little bit of cad yellow pale. That can approximate a viridian green. Actually, this is going to be a little higher chroma than a viridian green. This is more like a viridian green light. Add a little white to it, and it becomes quite cold. Okay, that's too light for that corner. Get rid of that. So we'll add a little bit of burnt sienna. That'll warm it up. That should change things just fine. Okay, so I have most things in place right now. But I have this, now I have a very irritating band of high chroma green. Hello! Sorry about that. My daughter just had stopped by and she was just leaving, so I had to say goodbye. And I think I turned the camera back on. No, I started the painting game, and I forgot about turning the camera on, so I kind of left you behind. So we'll just get back to it here. Yeah. Okay. I didn't like this whole green band. You know, it needs to be broken up quite a bit. So that's what I'm working on right now. Trying to throw some various bits of interest in here and there. Okay, foreground. Okay, that's a little bit behind there, so I'll cut that off. Nope, not quite what I'm after. That's real pretty, but I don't want that in the foreground. That's real pretty, ma'am. But I don't want it in the foreground. Let me just play here. Let me just try some raw umber. Don't ask me what it is, I have no idea. It's just color. It's color and shape. Yeah. Okay. So that's okay-ish. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I want it to hit your eye, you know? I want it to hit the viewer's eye. And hit it quickly. And because I'm not over mixing my colors, fingers crossed, there's actually a lot of looking to do, even beyond its initial impact. I mean, you know, to make something dramatic on first view really isn't that hard. But to contain a person's interest for the longer term, yeah, that can be a little more difficult. Okay, let's put a little bit of intensity in here. It's difficult because the texture of what I'm laying in right now is actually much more paste-like. It is a little bit of cad yellow pale with a little bit of alizarin crimson mixed into it, and I'm laying it over other colors which happen to be much more buttery, and this is more paste-like, so you run into a bit of that having to deal with that. Okay, don't go over there. One or two strokes are good, and more strokes are not always better. So I'm just gonna cut into that a little bit. Alright. Okay. Okay, alizarin crimson and white. A nice strong red. And where shall I put it? Maybe a touch of it there. A bit of it there. Maybe here. It's a little bit strong for up there for such a big piece. No, we'll see. It might be okay. Good to make a pattern out of it, though. here. Okay, see what that's doing for the painting already though? It's putting some real kind of crazy life into it, which is, well, I like it. Okay, and it's funny, you know, because you apply these colors and you know it's messy and you don't want to be, but you still don't want to be too messy. It needs to look uncontrolled, but you do need to control it. It needs a measure of control. Otherwise, you just end up with a mess. I know there's a romantic notion of just going, I'll do this, I'll do that. No, sorry, it doesn't work that way. You actually have to think about what you're doing. Okay, I like this area of ultramarine blue and white in here. But even more complementary might be putting in a touch of cobalt blue. Yeah, that stands pretty strongly in there. I like that. That's okay. Not everywhere. Okay. Ultramarine. Ultramarine. Just gonna put nope. Okay, see, I'm already wanting to fuss with things and it immediately loses strength. I'm gonna try to cut out what I just did. And I'm going to lay in a little slice of white there again. Not white, but light. Well, I should say white, because unfortunately, as painters, we cannot paint with light. We are restricted to painting with white. Now you see how I have no branches really coming off the trunks. We get into detail then, and then we start playing around, and you know, then yeah, you lose some strength. Okay. I'm trying to make it richer without making it too speckly. Nobody wants a speckly painting. Well, you know, if it looks intentionally speckly, that's okay. That's not my aim here.